This is Craig, Whispering Storyteller here, and today we are continuing on with the adventure gamebook, Island of the Lizard King. Now I won't go into any exposition here because I did do all this in part 1 of this video. If you haven't watched part 1, this might not make a great deal of sense, so I would suggest that you have a look at that right now and I'll flash it on screen for you. So I left last time with a question: should we call out to the creature? I had one response, and that was from Spiderbat Gaming 4760, who said we should call out to the creature, so we are going to do that. Okay, so this one is for you, Spiderbat Gaming. So we're going to turn to 317. The creature halts suddenly and looks over its shoulder to stare at you in bewilderment. Its wide mouth opens and a pink forked tongue darts out and recoils just as quickly. Its big eyes look full of sorrow, but then you realize that the creature is a cunning marsh hopper. Despite their pathetic appearance, marsh hoppers will often laden wary victims into lairs of carnivorous marsh beasts for a price for a few scraps of meat. However, no creature knows how to cross treacherous marshlands better than a marsh hopper. The marsh hopper beckons you with its head to follow it across the marsh. Do you wish to follow it, or do you wish to continue west alone? Well, I feel as if this is where we should have left the last question, not the one before. Let's follow it because I feel a bit daring on this bright sunny Sunday morning. I might be asking for danger, but let's follow it and see what happens. Sinking knee-deep into the slimy marsh, you struggle to keep up with the agile marsh hopper. Suddenly it turns south and once again beckons you to follow it. Do you wish to keep following the marsh hopper? Turn to 235. If you wish to keep heading west, turn to 37. Let's keep following it. I think it's going to lead us to a creature. A monster of some description. After a short while, the marsh hopper turns west again, and you wonder whether it's tiring you out and lead you into a trap, or whether it's picking the safest path through the marsh. Your thoughts are soon answered as a massive beast rises out of the mire in front of you. It is a two-headed Hydra, with slithers towards you on its giant slug-like body, both of its heads stretching forward to bite you. If you have a spear, turn to 272. If you do not have a spear, turn to 29. I don't think we do have a spear. I didn't make note of what that guy gave us, but let's have a look. We haven't got the spear. As the Hydra draws close to you, you reach for your sword and prepare to fight. So we've got to fight both heads of the Hydra. Both heads will make a separate attack on you in each attack round, but you must choose which of the two you will fight each time. Attack your chosen head as a normal battle. Against the other, you will throw your attack strength in a normal way, but you will not wound it if your attack strength is greater. You must just count this as you have defended yourself against its bite. Okay, so we've already established that we are not playing this the traditional way. We are going to win all these battles. So we're going to turn to 389. As I said in the last the Hydra sinks down into the black mire, the marsh hopper takes flight, its treachery revealed. He runs off in great loping strides and is soon out of sight. There is nothing else to do except trudge your way west. However, you have gone not more than a few hundred meters when you notice turbulence in the water to your right. That infernal marsh hopper has led you into a section of the marsh, seething with carnivorous life. Swimming quickly towards you is a giant water snake, and you must fight for your life in the marshlands yet again. And we now have to fight a giant water snake, which is very unfortunate if we were playing this properly. And in this one we've got to reduce our attack strength by 2 because of your tiredness and lack of mobility with the snake. If you win, turn to 49. And we have won. Because we are just tremendously amazing. You sheathe your sword and set off west again. Gradually the ground becomes firmer underfoot, and soon you're out of the water and walking toward a muddy plain. Ahead you see 2 hills, and you decide to walk toward the gorge. Dividing them, turn to 362. The ground rises and you are at last far away from the difficult terrain, and the jungle and marsh are behind you. Grass and flowers make the island appear lush and beautiful. But you know that you cannot afford to relax. It is not long before you reach the gorge and see that it runs between several hills in a westerly direction. If you wish to walk down the gorge, go to 40, and if you'd rather climb the hill to your right, 194. Let's go down the gorge. Let's do that, yeah. So we'll turn to 40. You walk down the gorge and into shadow, the sunlight being cut off by the southern hills. As the gorge narrows, you suddenly hear a rumbling above you. It is the sound of a landslide, and soon rocks and boulders are crashing down all around you. Oh no. Test your luck. If you are lucky, turn to 252, and if you are unlucky, turn to 107. Well, I feel lucky. Let's turn to 253. You run down the narrow gorge, hopeful that another rockfall will not occur. The gorge once again widens out, and you slow down to walking pace as your claustrophobia dies down. Turn to 382. So we're going to turn to 382. 382, 382. On a large boulder to your right, you see some words which seem to have been carved out in the stone. If you want to walk to the boulder and read the words, turn to 35. If you would rather continue your trek down the gorge, go to 119. Let's read the words. If we can see them, we might as well read them. It might be some hidden clue to find the Lizard King. The words turn back or die. But you cannot tell if its warning is for those entering the gorge or for those leaving it, as the boulder faces both ways equally. However, not wanting to take your chances, you grip your sword and walk stealthily down the gorge. Turn to 119, no option there, we just doing what it tells us to do. In the fine sand on the ground, you notice traces of old footprints leading out of the gorge. They end abruptly in front of you, and there are signs of a struggle. 2 pairs of footprints lead back down the gorge with 2 straight lines behind them, as though their owners have dragged a body behind them. As you follow the trail and the footprints, you catch sight of a shiny object in the sand. You prod it with your foot and see an oval snuff box made of brass. Picking it up, you see it has a hinged lid. If you wish to open the snuff box, turn to 41. If you'd rather throw it into the dust and continue to follow the footprints, turn to 325. I think we should open the snuff box, do you? Inside the snuff box you find a small gold nugget and a piece of paper with a message scrawled in charcoal which reads, "If you read this, it will mean I have failed in my attempt to escape from the slave mines of the Lizard King. My raft is hidden beyond the gorge where the plains meet the river. If you are here to help us, please follow the river upstream until you see the mud huts. The slave mines are nearby, but beware the lizard men guard." You fold up the piece of paper and put it in your pocket together with the gold nugget and continue to follow the footprints. So a nice bit of intel there for finding the Lizard King. Turn to 325. The ground underfoot becomes rockier and the footprint trail you have been following disappears. In the distance you hear a faint rumbling. Could it be the yawning of an awakened volcano? You hurry down the gorge but are stopped in your tracks by the sight of a huge reptile blocking your path. You stare incredulously at the armed beast, which appears some 6 meters in length. It is a giant lizard, and it sees you as a source of food, and we must fight it. Very, very fearsome looking creature there, but we have slain the beast. So we are going to turn to 196. You step around the huge body of the giant lizard and press on down the gorge. At last the gorge widens out to become a grassy plain, and the hills are soon behind you. Not far away, some 10 meters to your left, you see a pond where many birds are drinking. Do you want to drink at the pond? Turn to 2128. If you'd rather continue west, turn to 222. What are the chances of something living in the pond, eh? Well, I say we give it a try. After all, a drink could caution, although you're a little perturbed at the layer of green algae which floats at the surface. As you bend down to drink, a jet of liquid shoots out of the pond toward you from a wide green mouth that suddenly appears in the water. Oh no. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is the same or less than your skill, turn to 2 for 8. If the number rolled is greater than your skill, turn to 3, 5, 1. Let's turn to 3, 5, 1. Oops. It's 3, 5, 1. The liquid hits your face and your eyes start to sting. You have been temporarily blinded by the sticky acid of a spit toad. You realize what is happening and draw your sword. You know that the spit toad will try to leap on you and kill you with its spiked teeth. You cut your sword blindly through the air and step back from the pond, rubbing your eyes with your free hand. Although you cannot see, the spit toad suddenly leaps at you. Test your luck. If you are lucky, turn to 339, and if you are unlucky, turn to 73. Well, we are lucky. 339 it is. The spit toad leaps at you at the same instant that you thrust your sword out in front of you. The weight of the spit toad knocks you to the ground, but your sword has found its mark. The blade is lodged up to the hilt in the spit toad's throat. It shudders in its death throes while you crawl out from under its massive belly. Gradually, your vision returns and you retrieve your sword. If you still wish to drink at the pond, turn to 92, or would you rather head off west again? Turn to 222. What's the chances of another one being there? Let's just head west, eh? It didn't look very nice, the water, anyway. To your left, a small creature is running across the plain. As it approaches, you see that it is a small pig. The thought of raw suckling pig makes your mouth water. If you have a spear, turn to 342. If you do not have a spear, turn to 167. We don't have a spear, so we'll turn to 167. You run after the pig, waving your sword in the air, but it is too agile. It scuttles off across the plain and is soon out of view. You slow down to walking pace and continue west, still thinking about the succulent roast dinner you might have had. Turn to 170. In the distance you see a rising ground, and beyond in the northwest, the ever-daunting shape of the sleeping volcano. It is not long before you reach the bushy bank of a river running slowly southeast. On the far side of the ground is quite steep and tree-covered. If you have read the message in the snuff box, turn to 228. If you have not read the message, turn to 88. We did read the message in the snuff box, and I think this is where we find our raft. bushes for the hidden raft, and before long you find it. You drag it to the river and climb aboard. The river is not deep and you are able to push the raft up against the light current quite easy with the long pole that you have. Turn to 387. You have not gone far before you realize you are not safe even aboard the raft. You see a pair of eyes protruding from the water ahead of you. And suddenly a huge jaw lined with sharp teeth gapes open. With great force, the crocodile slams into your raft, almost knocking you off it. The crocodile thrashes around in the water, its jaws opening and snapping shut in its desperation to bite you. If you have an iron bar, turn to 9. If you do not have an iron bar, turn to 204. I don't remember if we do. I know that we met that guy in the treehouse. In the last episode, did he give us a bunch of things? I might be wrong, and I have not made a list of anything I've got, which is really bad on my part. Okay, I'm going to say that we've got the iron bar because I really do remember him giving us something. And if I've got it wrong, I am so sorry. Let's turn to 9. You whisk the iron bar out of your backpack and thrust it between the jaws of the vicious crocodile. It is now helpless with its jaws wedged open, and you are able to push your raft away from it. Turn to 390. On the right bank of the river you see a man dressed in tattered clothing. He's waving his arms around, frantically and calling out to you. He looks like he could be an escaped prisoner. Do you wish to stay or raft over to the man? Turn to 87. If you'd rather keep pushing upriver, turn to 14. I think we should hear what he's got to say. If he is an escaped prisoner, he could have some really good intel for us. And if he is dodgy, then my mistake, but let's steer over to the man. He's dodgy. As soon as you are close enough, the man leaps to your raft. His eyes look wild and he is sweating profusely. He is delirious with fever, and it is impossible to communicate with him. Suddenly he pulls a dagger from his clothing and tries to stab you. You do not have time to draw your sword and are forced to fight him with your bare hands. As soon as you win your second attack round, turn to 130. So something's gonna happen here, I take it. You punch the man full in the face and knock him into the river. He screams but does not try to climb back onto the raft. You feel guilty about leaving him behind, but you must press on with your mission and turn to 14. That was kind of a bit of a waste of time. The river meanders gently through the slow hills. As you sweep around the next bend, you see a group of mud huts close to the left bank. That's what the note had said. You steer the raft into the bank as you avoid being seen by any of the hut's inhabitants. trees to get a better view of the huts. Standing behind one of the huts, you see two tall reptilian creatures wearing armour and carrying whips and curved swords, lizard men. If you've read the message in the snuff box, turn to 63, and if you've not read the message, turn to 270. Let's have a better look at those lizard men. Quite fearsome looking creatures. But we are not lying this time. We did read the message in the snuff box, so we're going to turn to 63. Mud huts and lizard men guards, you realise that the gold mines must be nearby. If you wish to walk past the huts to find the mines, turn to 147. If you'd rather deal with the lizard men first, turn to 329. I don't know if it's worth fighting the lizard men at this point. There's obviously got to be much more than them. I would say, let's find the mines. Although there might be something that we can find that might help us, so why don't we deal with the lizard men? 329. You slip quietly out of the cover of the trees to the corner of the hut and peep around until you see the lizard men still talking. Drawing your sword, you charge around the corner to gain the initiative. Test your luck. If you're lucky, turn to 309. If you're unlucky, turn to 163. Let's turn to 309. Both the lizard men are standing with their backs to you as you run to them. You were able to slay one of them before they realize they are being attacked. But you must fight the other. As you can see there, they've got quite an average skill and stamina, but we have beat the lizard man. 368. You quickly search the bodies of the lizard men. In one of their pockets you can see 3 iron keys which you put in your own pocket. Bingo, that is why it was worth doing this. Not wasting any more time, you run off to find the slave mines. Turn to 147. Behind the huts, a path leads through the trees to the rocky face of a steep hill. In the centre of the rock face you see the square shape of a mine entrance leading into the hill. There are many footprints leading in and out of the mine. You step carefully inside, keeping you close to the wall, and the tunnel is lit by torches which cast eerie shadows all around. You sense that you are walking downhill and soon arrive at a junction. Do you wish to turn left? Turn to 274. And if you wish to turn right, turn to 28. It's a complete 50-50, so let's turn to 28. Again, the tunnel splits into a junction. Do you wish to turn left or straight ahead? Let's go straight ahead, I guess. You see a handcart with wooden wheels lying on its side in the middle of the tunnel, blocking your way. A short, broken skeletal body, perhaps that of a dwarf, lies beside it. descends into the tunnel and you wonder whether a rock grub might have attacked the unfortunate dwarf. The tunnel continues on as far as you can see, although there's no sign of life ahead. Do you wish to crawl into the borehole? Turn to 10. If you wish to climb over the cart and continue down the tunnel, turn to 3, 2, 1. I'm going to leave this with you. It's probably not the greatest kind of question we're going to have, but let's see what you want to do. I'm going to hand this over to you.